Helping Seniors Television, all about improving quality of life for seniors. If you're a senior, know a senior, or plan to be a senior, then this show is for you. It's all about helping you develop your own aging plan so you can age actively and with dignity. Helping Seniors Television from the Helping Seniors Network of information, education, and resources. Today, Rachel McLain is guest with program host Joe Steckler, and they talk about advances in senior living. This TV program is filmed on location at the beautiful RiverView Senior Living Resort in Palm Bay.
Welcome to this edition of Helping Seniors. Helping Seniors is a program designed to inform, educate, and connect seniors and those that care for seniors with resources. And that's one of the reasons why we're doing this show today from RiverView Resort Retirement Community, and I guess we call it Palm Bay?
Yes, sir.
A little bit south of Palm Bay.
Probably not Palm Bay proper, but close enough.
Right, a little bit south of Palm Bay. But we try to do some of our shows from facilities, and you'll see as Rachel and I have our conversation today during the show that we'll be talking, and we'll backfit some things in to make you see what's available at this beautiful facility down here, because we can't go out and walk while we're doing the talking, so we'll backfit it into the program. That's a wonderful advantage of having the camera crews that we have and the people that are interested in doing these things. So I hope that you'll enjoy the show, Rachel, when you see it.
Absolutely.
By the way, welcome, Rachel.
Thank you for having me.
You are the marketing director, or the community relations. I kept wanting to say community relations.
Yes, sir.
What does a community relations person do? What do you do here?
I'm the lady of many hats. So I help our residents as they come to learn about the community, gain knowledge about resources that are in the area, choose an apartment and move in, as well as helping the community at large to understand what assisted living is, the differences for us, as well as other communities out there, and helping them to make the right fit and building partnerships in the community.
You mentioned helping the community understand what RiverView is. How do you do that?
It's a series of education. So sometimes we do that through events. We'll do lectures or educational series, support groups, sometimes just some fun events to have somebody come in and simply by walking in the door, you'll realize that what the generation of the Depression folks might have known as what they would think of a nursing home is not what you feel and see when you walk in the door. So sometimes just having something fun to do, enjoy lunch or come in for an Easter egg hunt or enjoy some children performing music is enough to kind of open their mind to those things. And then we sit down and chat about what each family's personal needs are and discuss the different options that are out there in the community, the different levels of licensing and what each community can provide, including ours.
Okay. I'll ask a question. I'm not sure if you know the answer to it or not, but what's the average age of your current client? Do you know?
Well, I would say the average age is probably between 75 and 80. But interestingly enough, we have residents that are in their 50s, and my oldest resident is 102, although you would never know.
Yeah. In my last job in the Navy, I had command of the Navy's retirement home, and the average age of my 550 people there was 77. They were 6 years younger than I am now. So wow. It's an amazing thing as you watch the aging of America. You watch more and more people get older in our country, and look for the different vehicles we use to address the aging requirement. I think that places like RiverView and well, I think maybe the best way for our viewing audience to understand what I'm trying to explain your licenses to our viewing audience, because with the licenses you have, you're able to go sort of a step farther than other organizations of your type that take care of people. So this makes a big difference, Rachel.
Right. Well, what is already a complicated system for aging is a little further complicated in the state of Florida, because there are different types of licensing in assisted living. So you start with a standard license, and then there are specialty licenses available above that. In our case in particular, we hold the highest level of licensing, which is called extended congregate care. And what that means for anybody coming in the door is that our nurses are allowed to act within the scope of their practice, not necessarily confined to the regulations of a standard licensed facility. So if we have someone who has more invasive needs, maybe something, for instance, like a bolus peg tube, or somebody who has a colostomy bag or needs catheterization, those are things that our nurses are able to handle on a regular basis without having to call in skilled care to assist.
They can do catheterizations, and they can change the bags for colostomy patients and all that.
They can take care of all of those things, and in addition to that, for the typical resident that would come in, a lot of people are affected by oxygen services. A lot of people are affected by insulin injections and things of that sort. Our nurses are allowed to take things a step further than those that are typically in a standard licensed facility. So we're able to handle their care not just by a standard means with a standard prescription for such, but we can titrate oxygen, for instance. In a facility that has a more standard license, they would have to have an order for something that's more continuous. Right. And in our case, our nurses can step out of that scope and take it a step above and titrate. So sometimes those simple things are overlooked when you're shopping for a place to live, and you're looking at so many different aspects that you don't necessarily realize the things that could come up in the future.
Well, explain the levels of care that you do take care of, because you have people that really don't need assisted living or don't need nursing care. They still can come here.
Absolutely.
So explain the levels of care that you have, that you can address here at RiverView.
We have both assisted living and memory care, and just recently have added an independent living component. There is a further phase 2 to be built at RiverView that will be completely independent, offering much larger apartments and balconies and all of the different features that somebody who's a little on the younger side wants to enjoy in retirement, so that they have their amenities taken care of, but not necessarily care. And what we found when we opened the building, and it was mainly assisted living and memory care, is that we had a lot of people who were in a situation where they could no longer maintain their homes, but they weren't quite ready for assisted living, but they needed to make a move right away. So we have offered an independent living component that's within our licensed building. So for those residents, they can come in and have absolutely no care involved, but have the security of having on-site staff, have all of their amenities included, and have a emergency call pendant, and pay a consistent price with an independent living, what they would see at an independent living community. And if they become upon a need where they need to step into assisted living, they can stay right in the same apartment and just simply.
Let's say if a person came in as what I'll call a well resident, and they had a colostomy.
Right.
Could they still be attended in the apartment they're in, or would they have to move to an assisted section of the building? What would they have to do?
Do you mean if they originally come into the independent living portion of the building?
Let's say they were in one section of the building and they had to go and had an operation, they had a colostomy, and required a nurse to take care of that. Could they stay in the current room they're in, or would they have to move? Because I know some facilities, they perform one level of care in one section of the assisted living facility and then move them to another section. Understood.
That is not the case in this building. The only time you would ever transition it in care levels would be if you needed to go to a secure environment for memory care. In assisted living, we're able to care for something as simple as no care or having medication management all the way through the ECC level of care.
Let's say somebody lived in a facility like this and they needed nursing care like that. Is there an extra charge for the nursing care?
Your base rent when you come in is going to include all of your amenities, your meals and transportation, your cable, all of the things that you would need on a daily basis without care. Your nurse call pendant is certainly going to be something that's included in your rent, but we add a level of care service charge based on what your needs are. So if you have somebody who comes out of rehab and with a broken hip, and they're going to grow, strengthen through time, we can reduce our level of care services just as easily as we can add them on as they age in place. The intent is that we're providing the services that you need on a regular basis.
So you're saying, generally speaking, those services are already included in their living cost, or they would be an additional charge?
There are two separate charges. You're going to have a base rent depending on which apartment that you choose, and then you're going to have a level of care charge as well.
Okay, but that would still be much, much less than a nursing home.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that people simply don't know enough about well care, assisted living care, nursing home care, and how you can mix and match the programs, and how you can mix and match daycare with staying in your own home or going to an assisted living facility. And for patients that have a mental impairment, they could still go to a daycare, and the cost for the socialization part of it would still be much less than nursing home. Absolutely. And certainly much more palatable or agreeable for the family or the patient themselves.
Certainly.
What I'm saying is that I don't think our viewing audience and the general public at large has the knowledge that they need to have about the different levels of care that you provide here. And the reason I say that is because I've never understood why, when you see this facility here, and as you and I are talking now, they will probably backfit maybe. I would recommend they backfit the pool table, because I've already checked out the pool table. The rails are good on the pool table. It is balanced. I checked the Q-tips. The Q-tips are good. I'm an old pool player. But I know that I tried 3 and 4 rail shots on the table, and I came within that far of making the first 3 rail shot on the demo, just picking up the cue and racking the ball and doing it. That's how good that pool table is.
Good.
And you know, when an organization goes to that extent of taking care of the things that they provide to their residents, that makes me think that they're a step above other organizations that A, may not have people that have that type of knowledge, or B, they may simply just not care that much about how good are what the services that they do provide. Makes a difference.
Very true.
Makes a big difference. What else, is there anything else that a viewer should know about RiverView licensing? Are we?
I would just say that there are a couple of different things about us that set us apart a little bit from some of the other options in the community. We certainly hold both assisted living and memory care, but one of the unique things about memory care here for us is that we offer 1-bedroom apartments. So we have a number of couples that live together in memory care, where one person is completely cognitively aware and the other is not, but they have chosen that they want to stay together through all stages. And so one person simply has access to the entire building, and the other one has access to the entire building with a caregiver. So it allows the caregiver of sorts when prior to here.
Wait a minute, that's interesting. You're saying that the memory person and their partner can live together in the memory care unit?
Can live together.
And then by virtue of the fact that the non-afflicted partner can manage the other part, then they have complete run of the facility.
Absolutely. So if you have a poker game with your friends every Friday at 3 p.m. and you want to go and do that, and your spouse needs care around the clock, it's not disruptive to you or your spouse to be able to step out and do all of the things that you need. The care is there 24 hours a day for you at hand, and you have your life back, but still together. Now
that's different.
Very different.
Most organizations, they won't do that. One of the things I had a question. Oh, I know what it was. When I asked you something and you asked me something, I got off of it. With the cost of what RiverView, what your charges are, I can understand why your monthly cost here, and I'm thinking of another place, I won't mention the name, but your monthly charge is quite similar to their monthly charge, yet they want anywhere from $100,000 to a $200,000 upfront charge. And I'm given to understand that that upfront charge is to guarantee placement in a nursing home. Is that primarily why it's done that way?
I would understand so. I will say I can speak on behalf of a rental community. It's tough for me to speak on behalf of what the general public would know as a CCRC, because I haven't worked in that field. But generally what that means is that there's a lump sum of money that is vested over time that they come in with, and that guarantees them to be able to transition regardless of their financial situation within that community as their needs increase.
But see, this is why I think that when people watch a show like ours today, and the two of us are talking, and we're backfitting some of this B-roll, showing the beautiful dining room, the way the mezzanine opens over the lobby. It's new, so it's beautiful. But I noticed down on one level you had a Coke machine. It's not a Coke machine, it's open door. I'm assuming that the residents can just go in and get a Coke or a snack whenever they want to do that.
Absolutely.
That's part of the thing here.
A 24-hour cafe, so that if you need a little sugar boost in the afternoon, a lot of times for those who are diabetic, they know first that they're going to need a little something before they have to see a nurse. But if you're just a midnight snacker, or you want something instead of going into the dining room, it's a nice place to go and grab fruit or a pastry or a cup of coffee or something like that during the day. And
I'm very happy to hear you say that you give a Coke to a senior, because I got a daughter that's a nurse that's always trying to tell me, Dad, stop drinking the Coke because the sugar is not good for your arthritis. I enjoy my Coke though.
I bet.
But it's serious, Rachel. As we get older, our life expectancy has increased, but we know that we're only going to live so long. So why not live in a place, if we're not going to stay in our own home, why not pick the nicest place that offers the most for the most economical price? And then, to me, that's what I would be doing. And the day may come when I have to do that. I don't know.
Sure.
But I think there's just so much that we can do, and I guess I would prefer to take that $100,000 or $200,000 in the market the way it's been, invest it in the market, let the market depend on what I could end up paying for my nursing home or not. And cost pushes so far, and I ran out of money. There's always Medicaid, and I shouldn't advocate that on any public show, but viewers, you know exactly what I'm saying. If you don't do the very best planning that you can, you are not going to have the type of care that you want as you get older. And that's a truism. It's very true. What else have I not asked you that you would really like to say about RiverView?
Well, the one thing I think, aside from care, that sets us completely apart from other places is that our dining experience is quite different than any other. This is a true resort. So when you choose to come and have a meal in our beautiful dining room, it is completely waterfront. You're going to have a view of the dolphins all day long, but it is also a full service restaurant. So 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. you come and choose to sit down and eat.
You say 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Yes.
People can just come in and order from a menu?
Correct.
And they cook to order?
Cook to order. There are specials every single day that are they tend to be on the little bit of a decadent style, so smaller portions, several courses, and truly what you would experience in a 5-star restaurant. And then there's kind of a hearty everyday menu that's available all day long, so if you're in the mood for a Belgian waffle at dinner, that's certainly something that you can do.
Can they take the food back to their room?
Certainly. You can have to-go meals. You can also have room service like you would in any nice hotel. Certainly if anybody's feeling ill, we bring their meals to them when they're ready for them, and they order off of that same menu. They just let us know when they're ready for them.
Do you have a gluten-free menu?
We do. As a matter of fact, we cover the entire array of specialty diets. So we have options there isn't a specific menu for that. Instead, our chef sits down with you and discusses what your specific needs are, and then he helps you to make the right choices for preferences. So if our special happens to have certain vegetables and potatoes or rice or something like that involved, he will help you to make the alternate choices that are going to be healthy and suitable for your diet and still enjoyable, and then they'll come out with the same amazing presentation.
Does Marie Osmond or Nutrisystem come here?
You could probably order in if you wanted to.
But that is a concern, because when you have a beautiful dining facility and you have the range of food available that you can, as we get older, we tend to appreciate food a lot more.
Absolutely.
And there's a tendency to eat more than we need to eat as we get older. And what kind of precautions or what kind of things have you put in place here? Do you have like do the residents get periodic checks to check their weight, to check their health? You have a nurse on staff at all times, right?
We do. We have actually several nurses that are on staff 24 hours a day. There is always going to be at least an LPN in the building. During the daytime, that's several nurses. And we have an RN on duty during the day who's our director of nursing. All of our medications are passed by LPNs, no med techs involved. So we certainly make sure that we have all the correct clinical staff involved.
Wow. So do you keep a medical chart on each resident?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, they are mostly, there is a paper copy, but electronic charts. That way, if there is ever an emergency for any reason, that chart can actually follow the patient or the resident.
That's interesting to know. And are they logged? There's a new system out, and I know in the hospitals for the logging of medical records. Are you involved in that system too here at RiverView?
I'm not sure whether those systems speak to each other, but there's certainly a transitionable record that comes with us, so we can bring it on an iPad or something like that, or we can print and give a record to a specialty doctor.
It just might be something, since you're providing such a wide range of services, it might be something you want to look at, because with the prognosis under the medical system, with the decreasing number of doctors, it'll become more important that the top facilities that are assisted living that offer the licenses that you have, it would seem to me to be a very simple thing for you all to put in place.
Absolutely.
And would be a tremendous added enticement for clients to be here. Medical care is something we all worried about, and if we can make it as simple as we can for our doctor to follow us, why not do it?
Absolutely.
It's important to do. What makes RiverView different from a nursing home and other assisted living facilities? And I think you mentioned the view for one thing.
You're not going to miss water in this building.
You got a view. And do all the rooms on the water have a balcony?
No, this is a hurricane-rated building, so no, they don't all have balconies. But you're certainly not going to miss a view of the water here. We're sitting on a beautiful peninsula, so there's water on 3 sides of the building. So even the views that we consider city views still have a good portion of water view outside the windows of the apartments. Okay,
I know the setting is gorgeous, but you also have plans to add more facilities too.
Absolutely. So when we get to independent living, the true independent living portion of the building, it will add balconies and an outdoor terrace that's going to go onto the additional.
Oh, that's going to be a independent living section then?
Absolutely.
So then, if you do that, then the people that would be in here in the independent living section could transition to the new building, make more rooms available for the assisted living and memory care.
Correct. So that's the intent. So if somebody comes in now and they are in need of just independent living services and really amenities, they will have first priority for any apartment that goes into the independent living building. And should they choose to stay in the current apartment and come upon a need for assisted living, they will simply be able to stay just in place, and we'll start services then.
Okay, let's go back to your title, Community Relations.
Yes, sir.
I know that right now you're like a one-armed bandit down here. You're fielding so many different things, but what do you really see your job as community relations guy? People could say community relations, think you'd be more in working with the community, but I suspect this community relations is related to the residents here. And
absolutely.
How do you see your job? What is your job in that respect?
Well, both sides of that fence. I had an executive director when I first began in this industry who used to approach the staff, and the first thing he would say is, what's your first priority today? And everyone's answer better be, at the time, put a smile on a resident's face. So for me, I feel that my job every single day is to put a smile both on somebody in the community's face and my resident's face. So it's very hard not to smile at somebody who's smiling back at you constantly. So that's kind of my theory going through life. As as I'm passing a resident, I will never pass by without stopping to see how they're doing. And I feel the same way about our neighbors in the community.
People in assisted living facilities, they wear a mask for a face, the same thing in your memory care. And I always told people, I ran 3 dementia centers, and I always told the people that you never know what's behind the mask of a person's face. You don't know what they're thinking. At the same time, I refused to hire anybody to work at a dementia center that could not put their arm around the person's shoulders and give them a little hug. To me, that type a person was an aloof person that would do more harm in a facility of this type than anything else. And I felt very strongly about that.
I absolutely agree.
You agree?
Absolutely. There is a special personality for every job out there, but this is a people industry. We're here to care for people, and for someone to be able to retire, enjoy it, and have everything that they need at their fingertips, including care. And that includes us approaching with a smile and wanting to be there for that service. So it's very important. Every single person walking in the door should be here for the right reason.
That's a good way to close out a show. We're out of time.
Okay.
But I do want to thank you, Rachel, for doing this show today. And I want to thank you, viewer, for watching. I hope you learned something. And if you haven't, you can always take a trip down US 1 South Palm Bay and look for the sign RiverView Resort and just stop in and take a look.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Rachel.
You're so welcome.
Okay, thank you, viewer. I'm Joe Steckler. Thank you for joining our program today. I'd like to remind you that our senior information line is available to you at 321-473-7770. There you can get help and direction that could be helpful for your specific situation or circumstances. The work of helping seniors is very important, but we can't do it alone. That is why our sponsors here in Brevard County are so important. I'd like to thank our many area sponsors, businesses and medical providers who support the mission of helping seniors that help us carry the cost of our media efforts. If you'd like to join us either as a business partner or simply donate as an individual, we would welcome your call at 321-473-7770. You are always welcome to visit our website at www.helpingseniorsofbrevard.org. Thanks so much for your help. It does make a difference.